I didn't see it. I thought it was like the border.
Oh, no. Sorry. Yeah, it's just the. Oh, not the end of the meeting.
No, I
It's like, where are you sitting?
Can I say hi?
Uncle. Not anymore. Good.
Okay, it's 6 o'clock. Good evening. The June 10th, 2026 meeting of the Solana Beach City Council is called to order. Hello, everybody. So many wonderful familiar faces I see here tonight. Let the record show all council members are present. City Attorney, anything to report from closed session?
No, Mayor, but the council will be retiring back to closed session at the end of open session tonight.
Very good. Thank you. All right, please stand and join me in the flag salute. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we're going to start out with a proclamation. I see Mr. Greg Wade here in the audience, our former city manager and the CEO of CEA, Clean Energy Alliance. We have a proclamation for the 5th anniversary of our Clean Energy Alliance, our energy organization that we all get clean energy from. So I'm going to read this beautiful proclamation, which Alyssa will hand out to you, and I'll read it from a piece of paper here. So, whereas the City of Solana Beach is a proud founding member of the Clean Energy Alliance, or CEA, a locally governed community choice energy provider formed in 2019, which began serving customers on May 1st, 2021, and whereas CEA now provides clean electricity and customer choice to approximately 256,000 customers across 7 member cities in North San Diego County, offering electricity that is 50% to 100% renewable and or carbon-free, and achieving a remarkable participation rate of approximately 92.1%. And whereas since launch, CEA has reduced greenhouse gas emissions by approximately 746,092 metric tons of CO2 equivalent and committed approximately $750 million toward new renewable energy projects supporting the development of 190 megawatts of renewable energy and 197 megawatts of battery storage. And whereas CEO, I just lost my place, offers innovative programs such as Solar Plus, Battery Bonus, and Peak Smart Savers to expand clean energy adoption and provide customer savings. And whereas CEA actively advocates for its customers through regulatory engagement, completing over 130 filings to protect ratepayers, and has maintained strong fiscal responsibility, achieving a net positive position and delivering rate relief. And whereas CEA remains committed to achieving 100% renewable energy by 2035, advancing both local and statewide climate goals. Now, therefore, I, Lisa Huebner, Mayor of the City of Solana Beach, on behalf of our entire City Council, do hereby recognize and celebrate the 5-year anniversary of Clean Energy Alliance and commends its leadership in advancing clean energy, customer choice, affordability, and community benefit. Congratulations. I'm going to say a few words, Greg, please.
Thank you so much, Greg Wade, CEO of Clean Energy Alliance. I just am always reminded every time I come here to remind everyone that this all started in Solana Beach. And I was at the Cal CCA 10th annual conference. Cal CCA is our trade organization that represents all the CCAs. There are now 25 CCAs in the state of California, and they represent all of us in matters of regulatory or legislative importance. And during that presentation, it was their 10-year anniversary, and they had a video presentation, and you can see it on their YouTube website or YouTube site if you go to it. And during the presentation, when they were going through the history, they showed 2017 when they expanded to 10 CCAs, and I saw the beautiful logo of Solana Energy Alliance on the screen, and it gave me a sense of pride, and I hope it gives you guys a sense of pride because after Solana Beach decided to do this, we now have 13 of the 18 cities in the county and the county of San Diego all represented by a community choice program, and that represents over 80% of the load that SDG&E once served as bundled customers. So a lot to be proud of. Clean Energy Alliance is going strong. We're in a stable financial position. We've got a net position at the end of the fiscal year. We're projected to be at around $75 million. And with a $22 million to the good on the budget, we projected a little less than that. And so things are looking good. We hope to start to attack affordability issues a little more in the coming months, which we already did by a rate relief credit where we offer competitive, or actually less, parity or less than SDG&E for the clean impact product, the 50% renewable. So in any event, happy to be here, proud of this, proclamation, and there's more to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. Those numbers were a lot bigger than what I remember when we had SEA. That's really exciting to hear about the growth and the benefits. Thank you so much for all that you've been doing. Okay, now we are on to something else. We have a very important retirement announcement tonight. I'll turn it over to our city manager.
Yes, thank you so much, Madam Mayor, Deputy Mayor, members of the council, our guests tonight. I want to kick off our recognition of Pune Samak, who will be retiring this week from the city of Solana Beach after over 20 years of working here. Pune, we've done some recognition over the last couple days, and the sentiment that we've heard from staff about Pune is just something that I think every professional strives to be, and Pune embodies that. I was really reflecting on those stories that we heard from staff, many of before they started, as they were leaving, after they left. Pune, you are the first person in the city people usually meet and the last person that they engage with. And that's pretty amazing that you really bookend somebody's experience here. And we've had some retirements that are similar, 20 plus years. For some of our longer run folks or some directors, I believe, and I think I shared this with you, that's truly because of you and the care that you give to every individual. And I know that we've had some folks retire in engineering. We said, you can look around the city and see those improvements that they have done. Well, you can look at our staff and our city and see what you have done here. So I want to really recognize you and your service here, and I hope that you enjoy your retirement, and I hope to see you get to go to a concert with you and have some fun. So with that, I'll turn it back over to the mayor to read a proclamation that's been prepared for you, and we have a couple other gifts and guests and speakers that would like to speak about your tenure here.
First of all, I have to show you, this is a Pune-style approved frame that we have. It's lovely, yes. Thank you, Jenna. Okay, Pune, honoring Pune Samak for 20 plus years of service. Whereas Pune Samak began her service to the city more than 2 decades ago in an era of paper employment applications and has since helped guide the evolution of human resources and city operations into today's modern digital era while retaining a people-centered organization. And whereas throughout her career, Pune has been central to the city's growth and transformation, elevating compliance, strengthening operations, and serving as a steady partner to employees and leadership alike. And whereas Pune is widely regarded as the heart and soul of human resources, known for her warmth, grace, professionalism, and her her remarkable ability to make every person, employee, applicant, and council member alike feel heard, supported, and valued. And whereas she built a culture rooted in trust, respect, and genuine care, remembering names of children and grandchildren, checking in during difficult moments, and even scoping out potential homes for new employees relocating to Solana Beach. And whereas for many years, Pune operated the city's HR department as a one-woman show, balancing recruitment, training, benefits, policies, emergencies, and even the annual onboarding of dozens of seasonal and junior lifeguards, all with professionalism, good humor, and an open door. And whereas she was a trusted advisor to every department, known for her fairness, ethics, and dedication to helping staff grow, strengthening both the workplace and the city's ability to serve the community. And whereas colleagues often praise her authenticity, humor, and what they fondly describe as her je ne sais quoi, a blend of confidence, empathy, and genuine interest in others that defines truly exceptional leadership. And whereas Pune's legendary sense of style, most notably her Milan shopping finds, her love of all dogs, her thoughtfully created celebrations, and unmistakable flair for decor have brought joy and personality to the workplace. And whereas through her countless contributions, Pune has left a profound and lasting impact on the organization, shaping not only policies and practices, but the very culture of Solana Beach, one built on kindness, professionalism, and genuine human connection. And now, therefore, I, Lisa Huebner, Mayor of the City of Solana Beach, on behalf of the entire City Council, do hereby honor and commend Human Resources Director Pune Samak for more than 20 years of exceptional service. Her professional legacy will continue to guide the organization well beyond her retirement. We offer our heartfelt gratitude and warmest wishes as she concludes this chapter of her service. Thank you so much, Pune.
But before you speak, I think we will.
We have a few
we have
public
a
speakers, I
couple
think.
speakers that would like to speak.
Oh, you can stand. Yeah, please call the first speaker.
Greg Wade.
I just handed in my slip. Greg Wade, Clean Energy Alliance, and friend and former colleague of Pune Samak. It's my pleasure to be here today to celebrate Pune. I don't know that I could top exactly what you just said in the proclamation. Maybe I'll just focus on the fact that one thing I can tell you about Pune is that she always placed the benefits, and I mean benefits both in the general and in the HR sense of others, the staff and the council, above her own. She's a dedicated HR professional. She is well respected by every HR professional in the county. I frequently hear from other staff members that I used to work with or that I've come in contact with who just praise Pune beyond measure, and so I hope she knows that. Let's see, what else can I say? I might get in trouble from HR for saying this, but she is truly the Persian princess of HR. And we used to, when I did work here, there was a frequent refrain because I wasn't always the most tactful person, and that would be if I'd say something off-putting, HR, and Pune would come into my office and say, now what did Greg say? But she not only put the benefits of the staff at the highest order, but she also was a pleasure to work with. You already said it. She was the quintessential party planner, the utmost in fashion, and just the delight to work with. And yeah, I don't know how I could have done it without her. When I started here, she was a consultant, and I pleaded for the better part of how many years? I think at least 2 years to get her to come work for us full time. And I told her that if she comes to work for us full time, I wouldn't leave unless she did. So I'm in big trouble because I did. But Pune, I'm just so happy for you. The one thing I can tell you is that I learned a lot from her because my personnel ethic was born out of her passion for employees. And today, my management style has a lot to do with the people that I surrounded myself with, or I got the benefit to be surrounded by, rather. And Pune is one of them. And always putting employees first, that is something that I will hold to the end of my career. So thank you very much. And Pune, congratulations.
Thank you.
Kyle Kosnowick.
So we do have a couple things that we just want to present. So Jose is going to bring them over before I get started.
Make sure you're on the record there, Kyle.
Oh.
We have two gifts for you, even though you requested not to have it. It's a jacket. As well as a nice little collage of all
Wow.
the different reviews that we
Thank
have,
you. It's amazing.
right into our living room.
Thank you.
Oh,
So
looks
I
like
just
we
want
have-
to say a few things about Pune, Kyle Kosnick. So when I kind of started thinking about what to say about Pune, I realized how hard it was to put into words the kind of impact Pune has had. We could spend a lot of time talking about her accomplishments over the last 20 years. There's certainly been a lot of them, but that's not the first thing that I think about when I think about Pune. I think about the people, because that's what she's always been about. It's so easy in this job to get caught up in the budgets and the policies and the deadlines and everything else that demands our attention. But through all of that, she's never lost sight of what mattered. And she showed up for people, and she made them feel listened to. She made them feel valued, and she cared. For me personally, Pune has been so much more than just an HR director. She's been a mentor and a friend. She believed in me and challenged me. She believed in me sometimes more than I believed in myself. And if you want proof that she's always been the kind of HR director that goes above and beyond, when I broke my foot during COVID, she drove me to the hospital and she stayed with me. Because that's just who she is. She takes care of people. And she celebrates everyone else's successes. She invests in them, and she makes time even when her own plate is full and overflowing. She was instrumental in creating the culture that so many of us enjoy here at the city today. She understood that the culture is not only about the impact for employees, but it also ultimately affects the community that we all serve. Her kindness and leadership have made a mark on this organization, and her legacy won't just be measured by her 20 plus years of service, but also by all the people that she's mentored, careers she's influenced, countless lives that she's touched along the way. So on behalf of all of those that have had the absolute privilege of getting to work with her, thank you, Pune. Congratulations on an extraordinary career and a well-earned retirement. We're gonna miss you tremendously, but we're also incredibly happy for you. So we wish you many great adventures.
And then lastly, I think we have our Public Works folks. Luis, gentlemen, with the tradition of a street. Oh, there's one more.
We have one more speaker? Okay. Okay, we have the
Oh, I'm
traditional
sorry.
street sign.
Congratulations, Pune, on behalf of the Public Works team. Thank you for always having our back, supporting us, and showing kindness. So, this is.
I think we have one more speaker.
We do. I'm calling on myself, Mayor.
Oh,
Angela? Just quickly, I'll just say, because every time I try to talk, I get a little upset. But I know Pune really wanted that street sign, so I'm so glad. But I just wanted to say that, again, something about Pune is just really special. And it's always just hard to explain, and it's hard to put into words. But it's just very meaningful to everybody she comes in contact with. And, I've worked with her for over 20 years. And she's been tried and true and steady. And all that time, just the most competent, professional, caring person. And you can't help but work that long with a wonderful person and not become a very good friend. And so I think a lot of us have become friends with Pune over time. So we just really wish her the best. And enough said. Sorry.
Thank you. Pune, you may have the floor.
Wow. I thank you. Thank you, everyone, for all the heartfelt messages, for being here. I really, really appreciate it. I've promised myself I'm not going to get emotional. It was tough yesterday at the citywide staff meeting, but so definitely this moment is bittersweet. I need to put my glasses on. I didn't need them 20 years ago. I do now. Thank you. I'm excited for what lies ahead, but I also know I'm going to miss seeing everyone here every day, surrounded by all of you, people that have become my colleagues, my friends over the years. Nearly 30 years ago, when I began my HR career at Qualcomm, that was my first HR job as an HR assistant, if I had only known what I know now, I would have been a millionaire. My life would have been totally different. But, and I, would have lived happily ever after. But instead, here I am, retiring at 35, as a public servant. And even though I'm not a millionaire, I am rich with a career filled with incredible experiences, wonderful people, lifelong wisdom, and friendships I will cherish forever. Some of you may know the story, but I came across the opportunity to work here at the city one evening in 2005 when I was going through the wanted ads on Craigslist. Yep, Craigslist. This position, an HR assistant, temporary HR assistant position, was listed for 12 hours per week. And I thought it was perfect for me getting back in the workforce because I had stayed home with Lonnie for 3 years after she was born. She's here and no longer a baby. So I thought it was a perfect way to get my foot back into my career. I applied by filling out a paper application, mailed it in, and within a couple of days, I got a call to come in for an interview. And Angela was at the front desk, and I'll never forget that sweet smile as I was waiting in the lobby, nervous for an interview. So she calmed me down with her sweet smile and chatter that we had. I was offered the job the same day for 20 hours per week. The 12 hours was a typo. And the rest is history. So, I mean, you all, I think some of you know, or all of you know, that I did leave the city for some time, but I was still consulting. So I don't consider that I've ever left because I stayed. I had one foot in the door because of my consulting. But looking back to the past 21 years, I feel incredibly grateful to have been part of Solana Beach, such a wonderful organization. My time at the city has shaped me both professionally and personally. I have learned and worked alongside amazing leaders, Greg, Danny, who have guided and mentored and supported me. And along the way, I've built relationships, friendships, and a network of colleagues I will always treasure. During my tenure, we've gone through lots together. Losses of colleagues, we've lost some colleagues, changes, growth, a recession, and of course, COVID. I believe COVID changed all of us in some way. It definitely was a doozy for HR, it's probably, but I am proud that we came out on the other side. Thank you to Council for your leadership and the leaders that we had and our amazing staff. We emerged more resilient and more united, and I'm grateful for the experience, even though it was one of the most challenging chapters of my career. I also want to take this opportunity to thank my tiny but mighty HR team. As many of you know, the HR department was a department of one, just me, for many years. When I started, my employee number was 280, and we are now at 983. Although I can't take credit for 100% of the hires, I will take credit for hiring, rehiring, and onboarding over 600 employees throughout my tenure, on top of all the other HR functions as a department of one. After COVID, it was time to grow the department. So thanks to Greg's support, we were able to start a department of more than one. Kyle, where are you? There you are. You have been my go-to, my right hand, my Tyler Munoz guru, and my extra brain when I needed one. I'm so appreciative of you and all you have done, not only for me, but all you do for the city and your colleagues on a daily basis. Your generosity with your time, your deep knowledge and expertise, and your commitment to doing exceptional work have not gone unnoticed. You are a tremendous asset to this organization. I'm proud to have
been able to work with you, to have you on my team. Don't cry. I'm doing good. Keep shining. Your future is incredibly bright. Jose, where are you? Jose. You've only been with the city for 6 months, but I knew you were a rock star right from the time I met you, right from the start. Thank you for your dedication, your kindness, and your willingness to lend a hand no matter what from day one. He jumped right in. And for keeping me organized with your fancy reports and spreadsheets. I know the HR department will continue to do great things, and you will continue to grow and thrive. It's been a pleasure working with both of you. To the rest of the city staff and departments I've worked with so closely over the years, Angela, Rachel, Greg, Kirk, you're all amazing. We have some of our past directors, Joe, Danny. I never wanted this HR to be a scary place, and definitely not the principal's office, as some people refer to HR as principal's office. Thank you to the entire COSB team for trusting me, supporting me, and making my job easier, which in turn made me look good. Truly, I appreciate each and every one of you. Lastly, I want to thank my family, starting with my mom, who's here. And as well as my dad, my mother-in-law, and my father-in-law, who are no longer with us. They say it takes a village, and in our case, that couldn't be more true. Without their support, without our parents, I couldn't have pursued my career in the way that I did. I'm forever grateful to them. To my daughter, Lonnie, who has also been a part of the Solana Beach family in her own way since she was 7 years old, through Kirk's summer camps, the junior lifeguard program, and even interning for Angela at the city clerk's department. Thank you, Lonnie, for your support and understanding as I navigated and balanced work and home. I hope I've shown you what it means to be a strong independent and to go after your goals. And finally, to my best friend, my husband, Masood. Thank you for putting up with 30 years of HR drama, truly. We were just engaged when I first got my job at Qualcomm. I may look calm, but that's not the case all the time. There were plenty of behind-the-scene meltdowns, especially during COVID, and I think actually Greg and Danny experienced some of those meltdowns too. Thank you, Masood, for being an honorary member of the party planning party over the years, for running errands, helping clean up after the events, and for standing by me through everything. I truly couldn't have done it without your support. Now it's your time to retire, so hurry up. I will close by thanking everyone here tonight, all my colleagues sitting here in the audience as well as behind the dais. It's been an honor to work with all of you and a privilege, and I thank each and every one of you. Please continue to choose kindness and pass it on. Thank you.
Pune, that was lovely. Thank you so much for all you've done for this organization, for our community. I hope you feel the love in this room for you and leave completely filled up. I see Councilmember Edson has a few words.
I do. Pune, in addition to all the whereases and wherefores, I just wanted to add, and I know I sent you an email saying these things, but I wanted to kind of say them publicly as well. This is a bittersweet moment.
Yeah.
I've known, admired, and respected you for over 15 years. I know you've been here longer than that, but I haven't. Well, actually, I was on the back, but I didn't really encounter you much then. But during my time on council, I've relied on your support, both personally and professionally. And prior to my election to council, you and I were the dynamic duo who together produced the city's 25th anniversary parade. Yeah. And that was when we really got to know each other. Yes, absolutely. It's amazing that we are now celebrating the city's 40th anniversary. Yes. And I know that none of us would be here without you. So I will miss your presence at City Hall.
Thank you.
And I hope that your retirement is filled with joy and adventure.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks,
Really
Pune.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you. I will miss everyone.
Okay, we'll take a quick break unless the rest of you want to stay for the rest of the agenda. Okay, everybody, we're needing to get going here. All righty, we're called back to order. We are now on to the approval of the agenda. City Manager, do you propose any changes?
Yes, Mayor. For this evening, we will tackle this at the item, but I'm sorry, I just blanked. K1, first of all, K1 will be a continuance, but since that is an open hearing still, we will address that continuance at that time. But I'd also like to request your consideration of moving L3 up after consent. It's an info item.
Okay, sounds great. May I have a motion to approve the agenda as stated by the City Manager? Councilmember Becker? There's a motion, and Councilmember Edson has seconded it. Please vote. That passes unanimously. Okay, we're on to oral communications. Are there any speakers today? No speakers. Okay, now we're on to announcements, and I have a few here. Okay, the San Diego County Fair. We've all noticed it today. It returns today, Wednesday, June 10th through Sunday, July 5th. With the fair closed Mondays and Tuesdays, the day to do our errands. As in past years, the city would like to remind everyone that traffic and noise will increase during the fair season. Please plan ahead, especially when traveling on Via de la Valle or during major events, weekend nights, and concerts. This year's theme, Once Upon a Fair, celebrates storytelling, imagination, and hands-on exhibits for all ages, with more than 70 rides, nightly concerts included with admission, themed interactive experiences, and expanded family activities. The fair has again set up contact information for questions or concerns. The general phone number is 858-755-1161. Noise complaint number 858-794-1104. And their email is info@sdfair.com. Summer concerts at the Cove will begin tomorrow, Thursday, June 11th at Fletcher Cove Park. These free concerts will be held every Thursday night at 6 p.m. through August 6th. This week's band will be the Destroyers from the U.S. Navy, and next week's band will feature the yacht rock sounds of High Tide Society. Everyone is encouraged to bring their own low-back beach chairs and picnics. Alcohol and pets are prohibited. Call the Parks and Rec Department at 858-720-4430 for more information. The 40th celebration will also start at concerts on the beach. And one of the exciting updates about that is that in celebration of the 40th anniversary of our beloved community tradition, we're doing something very special. On July 2nd, we will move the concert down to the beach for a one-night-only seaside show. That evening will feature Atomic Groove, kicking things off, followed by the high-energy band Betamax, all with the waves and sunset as the backdrop. It's going to be a really memorable way to celebrate 4 decades for the city of Solana Beach, so we hope everyone can join us for this milestone event. And happy Father's Day on Sunday, June 21st to all Solana Beach dads. City Manager, do you have any announcements?
No announcements this evening.
Council, anybody have anything? Nope. Okay, that we're on to consent. Items listed on the consent calendar are to be acted upon in a single action of the City Council unless pulled for discussion. Any items pulled from the consent calendar by council members will be trailed to the end of the agenda. Do any council members wish to pull an item? Nope. Okay. Motion, please, to approve consent. Motion by Edson, second by Deputy Mayor McDonald. Please press the second button. And now vote. Okay, consent is approved unanimously. We're on to L3.
Excellent. Mayor, Deputy Mayor, members of the council, item L3 is the Parks and Rec Department report and goals. This item is before you as what we intend to be annual updates from our departments and starting with the Parks and Rec Department. Also, the timing is important. Council, you approved an additional staff person for this team, and they have been working hard. And I thought it was the right time and opportunity for them to share about that, share about the 40th anniversary activities that we have coming up in the next year, and the number of other programs and projects that Kirk and Dylan are working on. So with that, I'll turn it over to Kirk Winger, our recreation manager, and Dylan Rossi, our recreation coordinator, for the presentation.
Thank you. Kirk.
All right. Thank you, City Manager. Good evening, Mayor and City Council. Kirk Wenger with the Parks and Recreation Department, and Dylan Rossi, Recreation Supervisor. Please excuse my reading of most of this presentation. We have a bunch of information. We're trying to get it into 20 minutes, so pardon me for that. Okay, on behalf of the Parks and Recreation Department, tonight we will be providing you with an update on our programs, facilities, new initiatives, and goals for the future. Tonight we will also highlight the collective efforts of the council, staff, commissioners, and volunteers that create meaningful outcomes in our community every day and has significant quality of life impacts on our residents. Tonight's item is information only, and no action is required by the council. The Parks and Recreation Department is directly responsible for providing recreational, cultural, and social opportunities for Solana Beach's diverse population. This opening slide depicts examples of our residents enjoying their life in Solana Beach by participating in a variety of events put on by the Parks and Recreation Department. The moments that we help create often shape lives in ways we never fully realize, stories that pictures don't tell, such as residents learning about their community's culture and history, about sitting next to their neighbor at a concert and getting to know them for the first time, about a simple tree lighting event by the ocean that has become an annual holiday family tradition, about a child who grew up in Solana Beach, participated in day camp every year, then became a teen leader in training for the program, then was hired as a camp counselor seasonal employee, and ultimately became our new summer day camp director this year, Dylan Alden. About a local professional skateboarder who led the charge for a new skate park at La Colonia, who became the chairperson of the Parks and Recreation Commission, who became a council member and mayor of Solana Beach. These are the stories I've had the privilege to experience serving this community, and there are so many more. It's been my privilege to lead this department for the past 20 years. 2 years ago, we welcomed Dylan to the team. Besides adding a significant height contrast to our staff, Dylan has brought a valuable new perspective, a talent for technology and natural customer service spirit, and knowledge of current trends. He was recently selected to serve on the California Parks and Recreation Society Board of Directors for District 12, which is the professional association of all parks and recreation employees in the state of California. He's a valuable asset to our team and has a bright future as a parks and recreation professional. This fall, we will be recruiting for a third full-time employee. Thank you very much. This new position will bring us to an appropriate staffing level to serve the community at an even higher level. We are also supported by our valuable part-time employees, 2 of whom are facility attendants at La Colonia Community Center on evenings and weekends throughout the year, and 5 summer seasonal day camp leaders. And of course, probably our greatest asset, our amazing Parks and Recreation commissioners. Year after year, this group has gone well beyond their call to advise council. They have in fact become the longest serving and greatest volunteer workforce this city has ever had. As council members Zito and Becker can attest, their commitment to serve our community by rolling up their sleeves and actually doing the hours of hard work necessary to physically execute major community events is an amazing gift by our residents, for our residents. I'm always amazed and grateful for their service. Programming is the soul of Park and Rec, our opportunity to directly serve the community, and summer is our time to shine. Summer day camp. Our 7-week program starts this Monday. 45 kids per week held at Fletcher Cove Community Center, 4 days in La Colonia on Fridays. This unmatched location with a beautiful community center, park, and beach contributes to our children's amazing summer experience. Kids enjoy traditional activities every week, such as arts and crafts, games, nature hikes, swimming at the pool, library visits, and a bus field trip to a local attraction. The popularity and value of this program results in sold-out rosters every year, including significant wait lists. Our camp counselors are ready to make this another summer to remember at Solana Beach Day Camp. Concerts at the Cove this summer marks our 18th year. Our 9-week series runs every single Thursday night at 6 p.m., starting tomorrow through August 6. This program has also experienced amazing growth over the years, as each concert fills Fletcher Cove Park to capacity with Solana Beach residents of all ages. We have some great bands lined up this summer, and we encourage everyone to bring their beach chairs and picnics and join us for these free events held in the most beautiful concert venue in Southern California. Beach Blanket Movie Night. Our Parks and Recreation Commission will host their 21st annual event on August 8th at Fletcher Cove. This Solana Beach end of summer tradition will feature fresh popcorn, baked treats, pizza, a live concert, and of course the main attraction, watching a movie under the stars. Special this year, in honor of the city's 40th anniversary, we are moving everything down to the beach. Everyone will be able to enjoy this event on the sand with the largest inflatable screen we've ever had, a concert stage, and your toes in the sand the whole time. This year's feature presentation will be a Minecraft movie. Hey, I recognize some of the people in that picture right there. The Parks and Recreation Department directly offers 18 annual community events for our residents. These include the Spring Egg Hunt, Memorial Day and Veterans Day ceremonies, 9 summer concerts, Beach Blanket Movie Night, Dia de los Muertos, Fletcher Cove and La Colonia tree lighting events, and Santa's sleigh ride. We currently average over 500 residents at all of them. The support we see from this community is amazing. These events have become pillars of our thriving community. They drive economic growth by boosting local businesses. Just ask any restaurant owner near Fletcher Cove on Thursday nights throughout the summer. They foster social cohesion by bringing diverse groups together. And they promote lasting memories and civic pride. These popular events drive traffic directly to nearby shops and restaurants that enhances their economic vitality. Our city's vibrant event calendar signals to potential new businesses that our city is active, desirable, and a great place to invest in. Our events allow for community connections to occur, with neighbors interacting and building relationships outside of their daily routines. Our cultural celebrations, such as Dia de los Muertos, allow residents to share traditions which foster mutual respect and understanding among different demographics. As one of our key work plan initiatives is to foster community well-being, all of our events encourage residents to spend time outdoors in our parks, beaches, and public spaces. They promote positive mental health by providing opportunities to experience joy, recreation, excitement, and entertainment, all of which directly contributes to their overall happiness and quality of life. The Parks and Recreation Department receives, processes, and issues several types of permits for our residents. We have 2 beautiful community centers that can be used by our residents and organizations for their various functions and occasions. Fletcher Cove Community Center. This beautiful facility was completely renovated in 2011 and includes a 180-degree ocean view, natural surroundings, and 1,100 square foot rental hall. Private occasions such as weddings, reunions, anniversaries, graduations, and birthday parties can be reserved on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays throughout the year. This facility is restricted to Solana Beach resident use only. We regularly process approximately 50 applications annually for use of this facility and numerous permits for other community uses. La Colonia Community Center. This facility was built after incorporation and opened to the public in 1991. It includes approximately 5,000 square feet with a main hall, kitchen, expansive patio area, classroom, and staff offices. The complex creates a delightful setting for both indoor and outdoor parties and receptions. In 2025, we processed 25 applications for use of this facility for private celebrations and numerous permits for other community uses. Special event permits. The Parks and Recreation Department is responsible for issuing permits for all events taking place in the city's public areas, playing fields, and beaches. This is a requirement for any gathering of 25 or more people and includes everything from a 25-person picnic to a 1,000-person triathlon to a 30,000-person two-day event called Fiesta del Sol. Our location is an attractive destination for many events throughout the year, especially for bicycle and running events. In 2025, we processed 43 applications for use of public space. Additionally, our department is responsible for issuing commercial filming permits, sports fields permits, and sound permits. Community partnerships. Dylan and I are always asked by the community, how can our community centers and parks be filled with so much activity and great programs every day with only 2 Park and Rec employees? Our answer is community partnerships. Several years ago, we had 2 major community issues that required city resolution. One was the severe need for positive after-school program opportunities in the Eden Gardens neighborhood to meet the supervisory, educational, and delinquent behavior issues that were not being addressed between 3 o'clock and 6 o'clock. We decided to go to our local youth experts, the Boys and Girls Club, and ultimately came into agreement with them to provide a free after-school program on the La Colonia Park grounds for school-aged children in Eden Gardens. This valuable cooperation has been an asset to both the city and the Boys and Girls Club, and of course has addressed a vital community need. The second severe need that required city resolution was adult enrichment opportunities. As in most communities, Solana Beach adults are interested in activities such as exercise and sport, art, language, and dance. We had the proper facilities, but not the instructors and additional staffing needed to support those operations. Again, we approached the local experts on adult education, San Diego Union High School District Adult Education Program. We came into agreement with them to provide instructors and registration services to be held at our community centers. The result of this agreement has allowed the city to meet this community need and expectation for enrichment services. We recently transferred our agreement from San Diego Adult Ed to Miracosta College Community Education. We also have partnerships with numerous community nonprofit organizations that provide our residents with meaningful resources. Many of them call our community centers home for their meetings and events. Many of them are listed here. We're also grateful for our partnerships with the Sheriff Department and their storefront location at La Colonia Park. They're a valuable part of our special event collaboration team and appreciated for keeping our parks and community centers safe for all residents to enjoy. One of our new primary objectives, which is also a community well-being work plan initiative, is to provide new programming, service, and support to our active senior community by creating opportunities to engage, thrive, and contribute to the social fabric of Solana Beach. We're grateful to the Solana Beach Community Connections for their collaboration in the development and operation of these programs. Here are examples of our current strategies. Senior Pickleball League and Solana Striders Walking Club. These pilot programs were started in September last year. Our Senior Pickleball League just finished its 2nd season with a beginner and intermediate group. A capacity of 12 players was achieved each time, including a wait list due to our facility limitations of 1 court. Our Striders Walking Club is designed for active seniors to exercise, enjoy the outdoors, and build social connections. Parks and Recreation staff lead monthly walks at different locations in Solana Beach that regularly include park rangers and interpretive dialogue that includes educational information about wildlife, fauna and fauna, and history. We currently have 10 to 12 seniors participating regularly. Our new intergenerational game day will bring together seniors and children from our summer day camp program to play board games. The city will partner with Solana Beach Community Connections monthly game day, who will provide the seniors. This fun event, which will engage the youth and senior population of Solana Beach, will take place for the first time on Friday, July 31st. We look forward to that meeting. And Solana Beach Community Network Groups. This will likely be comprised of local organizations and stakeholders with one representative from each group. Meeting frequency will be determined. The city will have a staff liaison and possibly potential council liaison. Likely participants will include all stakeholders. What we're thinking is this group could work on connecting our network of seniors, ensuring collaboration, and avoiding conflicting programs. I know Councilmember McDonald mentioned at the last meeting that representatives from Solana Beach Civic and Historic Society, Friends of the Solana Beach Library, and Solana Beach Communications have already met and got started on this, which was great to hear. Parks and Recreation looks forward to assisting and/or facilitating this group in whatever capacity necessary. Updating the city's senior services page on the website. This will help provide up-to-date information on local service providers and resources that will impact seniors in Solana Beach. And our senior transportation program. Thanks to Nicole and Diana from our sustainability department for getting the ball rolling with the senior transportation pilot program. We believe this program will greatly increase accessibility to our city programs as well as other programs offered throughout Solana Beach. Parks and Recreation is excited to help lead the charge in celebrating the city's 40th anniversary. The goal is to amplify 6 of our annual events in honor of this special occasion. We'd like to thank Dion, Kayla, and Liana from the City Manager's Office for their time and dedication in helping to make these unforgettable experiences for our residents. July 2nd concert. In conjunction with our Concerts at the Cove event, and just one day after the official anniversary of incorporation, we will kick off our year-long celebrations with a special 80s themed concert on the beach. This will feature 2 popular bands, Betamax and Atomic Groove, extended hours until 9 p.m., and a recognition ceremony during intermission. There will also be giveaways items from local businesses, hot dogs, a fun bubble artist for the kids, and cake, of course. We expect a large turnout from our community for this event, and it will surely be a night to remember. Beach Blanket Movie Night. We previously mentioned how all the fun elements of this event will be moved down to the beach, including the biggest screen ever. Dia de los Muertos. The La Colonia Community Foundation is excited to celebrate the 40th anniversary of Solana Beach as this year's event theme. They plan to set up a large outdoor timeline, walk through history featuring milestone photos of the city between 1986 and 2026. And of course, this cultural event will include all the fun, decorations, music, food, and activities, as always. Fletcher Cove and La Colonia tree lightings. Weather forecast alert. Snow is expected for the very first time in the Fletcher Cove and La Colonia Park areas. Kids, get your sleds, scarves and mittens, and snowshoes ready. Everyone should expect a winter wonderland that will make these traditional holiday events unforgettable. And Spring Egg Hunt. As our final 40th anniversary celebration, this will completely transform La Colonia Park into an old-fashioned community carnival, complete with rides, game booths with prizes, petting zoo, jumpers, cotton candy and snow cones, character stilt walkers, jugglers, and much more. Kids will surely be leaving this event wishing Solana Beach could celebrate their 40th anniversary every year. Our next slide indicates some things that are very exciting that are facility improvements, recent accomplishments that have been seen. I wanted to thank, in particular, our Public Works and Engineering departments, Aurelia and Austin and their staff. Parks and Rec has worked together with them towards the successful completion of multiple projects over the last few years, including La Colonia Park playground replacement, the Beam Arc EV charging station at La Colonia Park, Fletcher Cove beach access ramp replacement that we just celebrated the completion of recently, as well as the Heritage Museum upgrades at La Colonia Park. Also exciting, but coming soon, Parks and Rec is excited to continue working with and other city departments towards the successful completion of multiple projects in the coming years. One will be this year, a new bulletin board for community announcements at Fletcher Cove. The La Colonia building and courtyard improvements coming next year. The community is quite excited about those wonderful improvements. The La Colonia interim park at the current vacant lot, also scheduled for 2027. The El Viento Pocket Park and Fletcher Cove Community Center trail improvements, projected for 2028. And of course, we're all excited about the future of the La Colonia Youth and Senior Center in the near future as well. Tonight, we reported on many of our programs, facilities, current initiatives, and goals for the future. But we also hope to capture and reflect on the reason we do this work: to enrich lives, strengthen our community, and create opportunities for our residents to thrive. In many ways, Parks and Recreation is the heart of Solana Beach, and along with the data regarding program attendance and facility usage, we hope to tell a more complete story of the pure value Parks and Recreation brings to Solana Beach by connecting the stories behind the statistics. Because it's those stories that truly illustrate the difference Parks and Recreation makes in the lives of our youth, adults, and seniors. At the last council meeting, Mayor Huebner announced that in a recent survey, 96% of our residents value their quality of life in Solana Beach. We feel that Parks and Recreation has a significant impact on those results. We're grateful for council, staff, commissioners, public works, and community support, without which we could accomplish very little. And I'd like to personally thank Councilmember Zito in particular for his faithful assistance with our movie night and tree lighting events for so many years. Without a doubt, in Solana Beach, like our slogan says, parks make life better. That concludes our presentation. We'd be happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Kirk, that was excellent. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dylan, for changing those slides just perfectly. Really appreciate it. Any comments, anybody? Thank you. Really appreciate this update. I think it's a great thing that we're doing these updates from each department to see what's going on and remind our community of all the valuable programs and events that you guys put on. And I now see Councilmember Edson is up on the board.
Yes, before you escape, I just wanted to say thank you. So, you know, I've been serving on council for, I think this is my 10th year now, but have been a resident of Solana Beach for well over 20, and I've seen amazing strides in what Parks and Rec offers to the community, and just wanted to thank you guys. And thanks for being here and letting everyone know. You know, we get a little bit of insight into what you're doing, but the community doesn't always see all the aspects. So thanks for coming and presenting.
Councilmember Becker.
Yeah, thank you. Excellent presentation. That was really fun. Thank you for doing that. In the 8 years I've been here, you haven't done that, so I love it. But I just want to make sure of one thing. You were talking about the pickleball leagues, and I think I heard you say that one court was not enough, that you needed 2 courts. Is that what I was hearing?
That's an understatement.
Okay. Great.
I
Perfect.
appreciate Dylan. He organizes that league and coordinates it for the community. And yeah, I mean, we need more facility. I think we'll be addressing that eventually on the vacant lot. But
Yep, it's in the plan.
right now, it's a challenge.
Popular. Very good. Thank you.
Councilmember Zito.
Yeah, thanks. And I want to add my thanks, Kirk, to the department and everything they do. I really appreciate it. I do think I would make the statement in general that the city could, I mean, we have one advantage, we have the beaches, but we also could, I think in general, just could use more parklands overall. So I think anything that we can do, while I agree there's a need for pickleball, there's also a need for playing fields and other things that we have as well. And so any opportunity we have to do that, since our leagues, our soccer and baseball leagues end up having to use the school properties because we don't actually have any facilities for them. So always looking for opportunities to expand, and appreciate everything that you've done to expand all the services over the years so far. I guess just one comment, I could ask this as a question, but you mentioned, you know, I work, as you're well aware, with Parks and Rec folks on a number of events, and would agree it's just really great to see the amount of effort they put in. I mean, these are not short effort events. They require working till late at night on some of them, taking care and cleaning up and everything, and it's really great. But, you know, as you mentioned, they are an advisory body, so as we go forward, I think through you and through other channels, we do get feedback, but if there's anything that that they're coming up with that says we really need to make this change, having some more official communication might be interesting as well. I mean, they're doing a great job with what they have, but I know that sometimes they come up with ideas, and it'd be interesting to have a more formal process with that at times too. Just understand what those are. But really appreciate the group. Thanks for your efforts.
And Deputy Mayor McDonald.
So it does take a village to expand, and I really appreciate you, Kirk, and Dylan for making the expansion of the programs just in my one term as a city council member, and for all the help you have offered to Solana Beach Community Connections, who is just starting out and who saw a need for older adults to have recreational opportunities. I can't thank you enough, and I look forward to continued involvement.
Thanks. Councilmember, again?
Yes, I would be remiss if I didn't mention the Solana Beach Free Farmers Market and the fact that that occurs every Sunday at our La Colonia Park. And thank you for supporting that as well. I see members of the Free Farmers Market in the audience, and just wanted to make a little mention. Thanks.
Great, thank you. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Excellent. Okay, we're now back to public hearings. Our first is on K1, City Manager.
Yes, Madam Mayor, Council, item K1, we have the project manager, Corey Andrews, our interim community development director here. However, we did receive a letter from the applicant, Mr. Pelly, requesting a continuance to June 24th of this year. With that date certain, we've been working with the applicant and neighbors on the matter, and we believe that we can work to come back with some compromises and solutions at that date.
Very good. So I need a motion to continue the public hearing to June 24th. Councilmember Zito.
Yeah, I'm happy to make such a motion. Just from a process perspective, do we need to do any updated disclosures now, or can we wait until it comes back?
It would be after we come
After we
back.
come back,
Thank
okay,
you.
yeah. So move to continue the public hearing to June 24th.
And Councilmember Becker. Very good. Please vote to continue the public hearing to June 24th. Okay, that is done unanimously. On to item K2, City Manager.
Yes, item K2 is the solid waste rates fiscal year 2026 to 2027. And we have Nicole Grecki here, our sustainability program manager, to give an update to her presentation from 2 months ago.
Hello, I am here, as City Manager stated, to go over our solid waste rate review. The city has an exclusive franchise agreement with EDCO for solid waste recycling and organics collection services. Under the terms of this agreement, EDCO may request a rate review annually to adjust the amount charged for providing these services. These rate review requests are subject to the noticing of Prop 218. So on April 22nd, we came to council, and council authorized proceeding with the Prop 218 process and to conduct majority protest vote. That required notices were sent to all property owners citywide, and protest votes will be disclosed at tonight's meeting. If the city does not receive more than does not receive protest votes from over 50% of property owners, council is requested to approve the rate increase. So the rates may only be increased due to tipping fees, that's the landfill disposal, and the cost of living increases on the base rate per our franchise agreement. The tipping fees increases or decreases are intended to be pass-through expenses. The tipping fee this year increased by 3.01%, and that was approved by RISWA, which is a Regional Solid Waste Alliance. And then the CPI adjustment is calculated based on the previous 12 months, and that has a maximum adjustment of 4% per our franchise agreement. This year it was 3.31%. So just a quick overview on some of the most common services. This means that the proposed residential rate would increase from $31.60 to $32.58 per month for the standard 96-gallon cart. For commercial rates, there are different levels of service available, but the most common is a 3-yard dumpster serviced 1 time per week. So that will go from $137.93 per month to $141.94 per month. For our organics, residential organic rates are included in the solid waste rates, so there's no change proposed there. And then for commercial organic rate, that will increase. The most common service is a 64-gallon cart serviced once per week, so that will go from $104.46 to $107.91 per month. So staff recommends that City Council conduct the public hearing, and then following the public hearing and the results, consider adopting Resolution 2026-067 to approve EDCO's rate review request in accordance with our franchise agreement.
Thanks, Nicole. I'll open the public hearing, and before I go to the city clerk for results, we'll do disclosures. I have nothing to disclose.
I have nothing to disclose.
Nothing to disclose.
Nothing to disclose.
Nothing to disclose.
Very good. City clerk, have we had any protest votes?
No protests received.
No protests received. Okay. Any speakers? Okay, very good. All right, may I have a motion to close the public hearing? That's by Councilmember Edson, and may I have a second, please? Councilmember McDonald, Deputy Mayor McDonald has seconded that. Please vote to close the public hearing. Okay, that is closed unanimously, and now open for a motion, please. A motion by Councilmember Zito. Could you state the motion, please?
Yeah, so I'm happy to make a motion to approve staff recommendation and adopt. Let me get there. Okay. Adopt the resolution 2026-067 as outlined in the staff report.
Very good. May I have a second? Second by Becker. Thank you. Please vote. Okay, that passes unanimously. Thank you. Okay, we're on to item K3.
All right, item K3 and item L1, we are going to do a presentation of both those items together this evening. As we were preparing the staff reports, it may bring questions to individuals about how do these differ from each other and how do they play into our larger paving program and our work plan. So this evening, Aurelia Dubral, our Director of Public Works and Engineering, and our City Engineer, Austin Frisbee, will be here to present and answer any questions that you have. With the first item being the Transnet Local Street Improvement Program and the RTIP, and bringing that list of projects to you for consideration and approval. And then the second item being L1, and we'll introduce this again, which is the Road Maintenance Rehabilitation Account project list. So with that, I'll turn it over to Aurelia to give a presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, City Manager. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Tonight we have two related items on the pavement management program. As City Manager said, K3, which is Transnet funding, is related to a public hearing, and item L1, which is our SB1, our road list. So I wanted to walk us through both of the funding programs and then also start off talking about our pavement management program. So we'll start off with a brief overview of how the pavement management program works, how we score our roads. Then we'll talk about the roads proposed for resurfacing in fiscal year 26-27, and then walk you through the two funding programs. So the pavement management program is the city's systematic approach to keeping our 46 miles of paved roads in good shape at the lowest long-term cost. It has 4 steps. First, we inventory all our streets and establish a baseline. Second, we model how pavement deteriorates over time. And third, we use that data to select the most cost-effective treatment for each road within the city. It's more cost-effective to slurry seal a road in good condition than to reconstruct one that's failed. And finally, we build our 5-year project list and we match it to available funding. The whole system is driven by a PCI, or a Pavement Condition Index score. The Pavement Condition Index is a methodology used by public agencies throughout the state. It's standardized 0 to 100 scale that rates pavement condition based on surface distress, cracking, rutting, raveling. In other words, kind of how does it feel to the driver. A score of 100 is a brand new road. 0 is completely failed pavement. The key insight here is at the treatment column on the right. Roads in the 71 to 100 range only need relatively inexpensive preventative treatments like slurry seals and even crack sealing. Once a road drops below 55, you're looking at a mill and overlay, which is significantly more costly. Below 40, and the road is usually required to be reconstructed. That's why if we invest proactively, staying ahead of deterioration costs a fraction of letting roads fail. Our last PCI survey for the city was done in 2021, and it was determined to be 73.4. What that relates to is 60% of our road network was in very good or excellent condition. This slide shows the progress the city has made in improving roadways over the past 10 years. Between 2016 and 2021, the citywide pavement condition index improved from 67 to 73.4, a gain of over 6 points, which is a direct result of the city's increased investment of SB1 funding and Measure S. We evaluate every road within the city every 5 years. And as we said, the last survey was done in 2021, and we are currently soliciting for a new evaluation, which we plan to bring to City Council in July for award. Annually, the city has budgeted approximately $1.1 million for its annual pavement management program for last year, from 4 main funding sources. The expanded program we're presenting tonight totals $2.4 million. The difference is primarily the significant increase in Transnet funding, plus the addition of developer participation funds from the Solana Highlands and Ocean Ranch projects for South Nardo Avenue. When deciding on which roads to include in this year's paving program, we really looked at the PCI score. So over the past 4 years, we've been able to do the roads that were easier to get, didn't require as much work. So we're really looking at the pavement condition index of these roads. In addition, we took into account the impacts from development, and as you can see, there's a range of conditions from poor to very poor, and all of these roads will benefit from resurfacing so that we don't have to eventually go to full reconstruction. Specifically, South Nardo Avenue was added through cost participation agreements, and Stevens Avenue, which although it has a high PCI score, the past several years of adjacent development activity has degraded the surface, and we expect the current PCI to be significantly lower. First, now I want to get into the various funding programs. So this slide summarizes the SB1 program details. SB1, also known as the Road Repair Accountability Act, was signed into law in April 2017. SB1 provided new state gas tax revenues specifically to help cities statewide address the backlog of road maintenance. Our fiscal year 26-27 allocation is approximately $370,000. While the city is required to submit a project list by July 1st, we do retain the ability to fund other eligible road projects beyond that list, as long as we report any changes in our annual December submission. There's a maintenance of effort requirement in order to maintain SB1 funding. The city must maintain a general fund spending at streets at or above its historical average from 2009-10 to fiscal year 2012-2013. Of that amount, it was $900,000. So in order to continue to receive annual SB1 funding, we do have to continue that level of support from the county's general fund. I also want to highlight the note at the bottom. Once the city's citywide PCI reaches 80 or above, we are authorized to spend our SB1 allocation on any transportation priority, not just paving. That unlocks flexibility for active transportation, safety improvements, and other needs similar to what gas tax can be used for. Transnet is the other major funding source for our pavement management program. It's a voter-approved half-cent countywide sales tax, and it's administered by SANDAG. Local jurisdictions receive their share through the Local Street Improvement Program, which is allocated by population and road miles. The city's allocation averages over the next 5 years approximately $290,000 annually, and we And we, in addition to that, we also have an approximate $217,000 annual debt service that's applied towards the Highway 101 beautification project. Tonight's public hearing is required because every 2 years, cities must adopt a 5-year program of project and submit it to SANDAG to remain eligible for Transnet funding. Here is the proposed 5-year Transnet program of projects. The total over 5 years is approximately $2.7 million and includes pavement resurfacing, preventative maintenance, and sidewalk improvements. Fiscal year 2027 is the largest year at approximately $1.4 million and includes allocation of carry-forward funds that have built up over prior years, and staff is proposing these funds be used for pavement resurfacing and $175,000 to complete the construction funding for the Glencrest Drive sidewalk project, which is funded in part with a $500,000 state grant from Senator Levin's office. In the last 3 years of the plan, you'll see the Transnet revenues level off, and these are based on SANDAG's estimate. The majority of annual Transnet has historically been used for resurfacing projects. However, based on findings of the pavement condition evaluation, we will be exploring a more cost-effective program, including leveraging roadway seals as part of the annual pavement management program. In addition to the adoption of the 5-year program, there is a quarterly amendment process to update the program project list as well as adjust funding levels. Tonight's recommendation includes the approval of the 5-year Transnet program of projects, as well as the list of projects to be included in the fiscal year 26-27 pavement resurfacing project. If Council approves staff's recommendation, the Transnet program of projects will be submitted to SANDAG and the SB1 list to CTC by the July 1st deadline as required. And this concludes our presentation, and we're available to answer any questions.
Thanks, Aurelia. I'll open the public hearing, and we'll start with disclosures. My disclosure is I'm on the board of directors of SANDAG, which administers the Transnet program. Deputy Mayor?
I have no disclosures.
I'm the chair of the Transportation Committee on SANDAG, which also helps to administer the Transnet program.
I'm a board member at SANDAG, and which administers the transportation program, Transnet program.
Nothing to disclose.
Okay, any questions? Councilman Bredson?
Yes, thank you. Thank you for the presentation. There were a lot of good nuggets in there. I just have a couple of comments, and I don't know, since we're combining L1 or L.
Yes.
L1? Yes, L1 with this, if maybe that's why it wasn't covered. But just first of all, as a comment that Levin is a congressman, not a senator. So I heard that go by, and I'm like, no, he's our congressman. And then on the Glencrest sidewalk construction, it talks about the recommendation of how to use the funds, but then it goes on to say that the $175,000 balance will be funded through the FY 2027 Transnet program increase, which you mentioned. This funding strategy preserves TIF funding for reallocation to other city projects. Are there any city projects that you have in mind for that funding?
We were looking at Loma Santa Fe West. So the way the TIF program is set up, it's really for pedestrian and bicycle improvements. It has a very specific list of projects, and we think this will really help get us closer to construction.
Anything we can add to that piggy bank is a good thing, because I think we're cobbling it together. Thank you for that. And then slide 7, could you go back to that? On the second from the bottom, South Nardo Avenue still says Bell Ranch Road to Stevens Avenue, and there was a blue folder item today, but it was for L1 that changes that. Does it need to be changed also in K3?
It will only need to be changed. No, it's just for L1. It won't be required under K3 because we aren't required to submit a specific project list.
Okay, thank you. And are we also commenting on L1 at the same time?
No.
No. Okay, never mind.
We're getting a separate presentation. Yeah.
You won't have another presentation, but we will open up that item next.
And then we can answer.
Yes,
Okay, all right.
absolutely.
Do it that way. Councilmember Zito.
Yeah, thanks for the presentation, Aurelia. I guess my first question is, given what we were talking about the PCI score, are the projects that involved in K3 and L1 expected to be done before we do our street survey then, completed?
Yes, so those streets would be likely completed or concurrent to the PCI evaluation.
Okay, because my understanding, we were talking about the PCI score of 80 being important. That only gets calculated every 5 years when you do the street survey, correct? We can't dynamically adjust that over time, or how does that work?
If we understand the treatment method, we can retroactively go in there and assign that to the street. So we do know we're going to do a mill and overlay, so when we program it into the software, we can realize the treatment method.
But that's the 80 is a citywide score, correct? So wouldn't at the same time other streets be degrading and get lower scores? So how do we account for that to get the overall citywide score?
So they'll run the citywide evaluation and assign the streets that we are not resurfacing,
Right.
and then we will realize the streets that we are resurfacing, coalesce all those, and have a citywide PCI.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll do the calculation as if these projects are completed, is
Correct.
what you're saying, whether they get completed or not. Okay.
Yes.
And we'll see where we end up. Thanks. The other question I had was, based upon the last survey we did, when this staff report came back, and I'm kind of curious if the mindset's still the same, there was some discussion about how, depending upon the life cycle of the road, it's sort of that middle section, it doesn't make sense to invest because you've kind of gone past the point of no return, and it's going to continue to degrade. And so we tend to invest at the top and the bottom. Is that mentality still the general process by which we use to select streets?
I would say no. I
Okay.
think it really depends on what treatment method we want to approach and what's the most cost effective at that time. Really, if oil prices are higher, it might be a different treatment method for slurry seal versus mill and overlay versus a full depth reclamation. So it's really what's available at that time, what's going to be the most cost beneficial for the city, get us the best bang for our buck.
Okay, thanks. And yeah, I think it's been a while since our last survey. I think, for future years, when we come back and start seeing this stuff, it'd be useful to see the results of the survey, where we've done improvements and where the roads that we're picking actually sit in the overall list of the survey, and actually talk about why we're picking the ones in the context of all the streets that were reviewed, as opposed to just seeing the end result. I know you're going through that process internally, but actually exposing it, saying, okay, this was our survey, these are all the streets. We did that at least once, maybe 2 years, I can't remember. I think it was after the last survey. The next year we came back and said, okay, this is the survey, this is what we picked. But I think it'd be great just to be doing that
To give that
over time, every
that-
year, as we can show how we're picking these streets.
That
'Cause,
context.
yeah, that context, that would be helpful as well.
Yes, and we will be coming back to the council and to the public with the pavement condition assessment. I think we will have the contract, but then we will come back after the work is done. And again, we will share that information, that process, give the council room to help us understand where priorities that are less contingent upon costs, but to help us to balance and make those decisions so that year one, when we come and explain how we selected the streets, hopefully you're nodding your head and saying, yes, that sounds consistent. So I think this will be a work in progress over the next year, but we'll keep touching back on this topic.
Okay. Yeah, thanks. And my recollection again from the last survey was that at that point in time, we were told 750,000 was the annual maintenance level. And we decided to, I'm guessing since that was 2021, that would be closer to the 900,000 number that you put up there from the general fund. So that's probably just maintenance. And so we would need other funds to continue to improve. So it seems like that number would continue to make sense. I don't see anybody else on the board. I make a motion to close the public hearing.
Thank you. And may I have a second to close the public hearing? Councilmember Becker? Thank you.
Oh, sorry. Did I skip public speakers?
I saw there's no
Okay.
Thank you. Please vote. Public hearing is closed. May I have a motion to approve this item? Councilmember Zito.
Yeah, happy to move staff recommendation and adopt resolution 2026-068 as outlined in the staff report.
And authorize the city.
And authorize the city manager to amend the adopted budget accordingly, yes.
Very good. All right, may I have a second, please? Councilmember Becker, please vote. Okay, that passes unanimously. So now we're on to L1. City
Yes,
Manager.
and L1 is the Road Maintenance Rehabilitation Account Project List, or the RMRA. And I would ask Aurelia or Austin, is there anything else you would like to provide to the council before they open up for deliberation?
I would like to add, in addition to changing the limits for South Nardo as well, this $2.4 million program will potentially resurface almost 3 miles of road within the city. So it's really a high percentage of our overall street network. And it's really because we were able to leverage the funding from the private development projects. So really thinking about how we deliver projects so we're not just doing the middle of a road and that it looks consistent from end to end with very logical areas. So I
That's
wanted
great.
to add that.
Okay, Councilmember Becker.
So I just wanted to clarify what you're talking about is we're now going from Corto all the way to Stevens Avenue. Very good. That's
correct.
terrific. Thank you so much for doing that. I was just driving on it the other day and was hopeful for that. Thank you.
Do you want to make a motion, Councilmember?
Yes, I do. Make a motion to, are we opening and closing?
This is just a staff report, so we don't have a public hearing.
Okay, very good. All right, I'll move staff recommendation.
Very good. And that is, okay, there you go. Do we have a reso? Where is it?
Resolution
Oh, there it
2025
is, right, got it.
063.
Very good. And Councilmember Edson has seconded that. 2026-063.
Oh. What am I looking at?
And Councilmember Edson has seconded that with that correction. And please vote. Okay, that passes unanimously. We are now on to item L2, which is about bees and chickens.
Yes. So item L2 is a report for the council to consider and provide feedback on urban agriculture. So that is specifically as it relates to chicken keeping in our city, or small fowl, and beekeeping or apiary uses. And with that, I will turn it over to Tiffany Wade to give a presentation this evening. And again, there's no decision for you, but we are really looking to tighten up what the proposal should be to bring it back to you in the next month or two.
Thank you. Good evening, Honorable Mayor and members of the City Council. The item before you is a discussion of the current and possible future regulations regarding chicken and beekeeping. So the community have expressed interest in creating more opportunities for residents to keep chickens and bees. This sparked council direction for staff to review the existing regulations. Staff has also researched neighboring jurisdictions for comparison. So a list of considerations for council to discuss potential future changes to the current regulations is before you tonight. So first, I'll briefly review the current regulations. Chickens or other fowl are only allowed in the estate residential and low residential zones. The subject property must be at least 20,000 square feet. Flock size is limited by lot size, with the code allowing 1 animal per 2,000 square feet for a maximum of 25 animals. Enclosures or coops must be at least 35 feet from any residential dwelling unit. And for the purposes of this discussion, staff asks that the council consider modifications to the following areas. First, zoning, second, coop location, third, coop construction and maintenance, and then fourth, flock size. So the first consideration is zoning. This is the legend from our zoning map. You can see that chickens are permitted in the lower density zones as opposed to the higher ones. Council could consider allowing chicken keeping in the low, medium residential zones as well, which is still lower in density with an average lot size of a little over 1/4 of an acre. And this is the city's zoning map. The areas in blue indicate where chicken keeping is currently allowed. And the pink areas are the low, medium residential zones. Adding this zone would impact all of the Santa Streets, areas around Glenmont, North Granados, Seabright, and properties accessed from Fresca Street and via Milcumbres. The second consideration for discussion is coop location. This can be interpreted several ways, but the most important is arguably the location of the coop in relation to adjacent dwellings. So current regulations require coops be located at least 35 feet from adjacent residential dwelling units. This is consistent with the cities of Encinitas and Oceanside. However, it may not actually be feasible for some of our narrower lots. So council might consider the following. Is 35 feet still the desired distance? Council could consider if this distance should be measured from the existing adjacent primary dwellings or from the adjacent buildable area to accommodate potential future development. Or council could consider an alternative approach to setback requirements, such as a minimum setback from property lines. So this would eliminate the need to obtain data from the adjacent properties. And here's a graphic that kind of describes both of those approaches. So first is distance from adjacent development, and the second shows requiring a minimum setback from the subject property lines. So the graphic shows a corner lot. The rear yard is indicated in green. So another method to manage coop location is to require that coops comply with our accessory structure regulations. This would limit the coop to the buildable area and the required rear yards. If located in the rear yard, the height would be limited to 12 feet. Additional setbacks required within the rear yard area are 5 feet from the rear property line, and there's a maximum lot coverage allotted in the rear yard area as well. So there are some site conditions that could accommodate a coop more easily in the front of the house versus the rear because the development is set so far back from the front property line. This graphic shows properties along South Rios Avenue as an example. The green area is the required front yard area, and in these scenarios, we would expect that the coop still be within the buildable area of the lot, and screening may be required in these cases. The next consideration is coop construction and maintenance. A single chicken requires 2 to 3 square feet of housing area and 8 to 10 square feet of run. Staff recommends that 10 square feet be provided for each chicken. This would include both housing and run area. This is consistent with the cities of Oceanside and San Diego. The structure should comply with the accessory structure regulations mentioned earlier. And depending on the size of an accessory structure, a building permit may be required. Council may also consider applying Section 17.08 of the Municipal Code to coop construction. This section allows one-story detached accessory structure of 120 square feet or less to be constructed without a building permit. Coops should also meet the following criteria: provide adequate structures for nesting, be pest controlled, predator-proof, easily cleaned, and well ventilated, and all solid waste must be removed and disposed of regularly. The final consideration to be discussed is flock size. Our current regulations limit flock size by 2 factors: the maximum number, 25 chickens, and lot size, or site area. As written, it appears that the code requires 2,000 square feet of area for each chicken, when in fact the regulations are attempting to limit the number of chickens by the lot area. So if you have a 20,000 square foot lot, you could not have more than 10 chickens. So the bigger the lot, the bigger the flock, up to 25. Council may discuss whether or not lot size should continue to be a limiting factor for flock size. Council may consider a new maximum number other than 25. The cities of El Cajon and Encinitas limit properties to 10 chickens. Oceanside's cap is 6. The maximum number of chickens could be the same throughout the city or change depending on residential zone. For example, the ER zone, which averages lot sizes of 50,000 or more, may still accommodate 25 chickens easily. Flock size can also change according to the amount of area that can be provided for each chicken. As explained earlier, it could be required that chickens are allotted 10 square feet of housing and run area each. Council may consider a minimum flock size as well. Chickens are social animals with social hierarchies, and it is unlikely a single chicken would thrive. 3 to 4 chickens are recommended for a small flock. And it's also recommended to allow hens only, no roosters. That's pretty standard across cities. So now we move on to bees, or apiaries, which are currently not allowed in any of our residential zones. So our discussions tonight could inform new regulations to allow beekeeping in some residential zones. The first consideration for apiaries is zoning. Staff suggests council consider allowing apiaries in the estate residential and low residential zones, which have larger lot sizes on average. Second is number of hives. The cities of Encinitas and San Diego limit residential properties to 2 hives max, and staff suggests doing the same. The third is hive management. Only docile bee species should be kept within the city. The next consideration is hive location. These parameters really get at how to manage bees and keep neighbors safe. So staff recommends that a setback from property lines be required. Hives should be secured and surrounded by a solid 6-foot-tall flyover barrier. Beekeepers must provide a water source within 100 feet or less to discourage bees from traveling to neighboring water sources. And on the right is an example of San Diego County's BMPs for apiaries that include 1 to 2 hives. So they're requiring 25 feet or more from the road, 25 feet or more from the property line, 35 feet from a neighbor's dwelling, and also require 150 feet from sensitive sites. The final consideration for bees is registration. State law requires local beekeepers register with the San Diego County Agricultural Commissioner. This is done through the website Beware. This snip is from the San Diego County Apiary Program website. It includes links for registration, resources, a BMP checklist, which is only required for unincorporated areas, but could still be a useful tool for new beekeepers, and also a free course, which is required for first-time beekeepers. So if council decides to move forward with modifying the current animal regulations, staff recommends that the city council first discuss amending the current chicken regulations. Second, discuss allowing the keeping of apiaries as an approved use. Third, make recommendations to staff regarding amendments to the municipal code. That concludes my presentation, and I'm here for any questions.
Thanks, Tiffany. Good to see you again, too. We don't have any speakers, right? Okay, all right. Deputy Mayor, looks like you're reaching for the request to speak. Okay, go right ahead, young lady. It's fine, I got you.
So my city council district consists of patio homes, townhomes, condominiums that are apartment style, some single-family homes that are on estate-sized lots, but the vast majority of the single-family homes are in the LMR zone. And because of the way they were developed, it may appear that the lots are large, but most people have very small level areas in their backyards because of the natural slope. If you look, you can see, if you stood, for example, on the Loma Santa golf course and looked up, you would see tier after tier after tier going up the side of single-family homes with very steep drop-offs and very small level lots. The same thing is true on the south side of the golf course. Most lots may appear large on a map. If you were, trying to sell your house, you would say, "Oh, look, I have a 10,000 square foot lot," but there are major drop-offs to Loma Santa Fe, to Via Mil Cumbres, to the cul-de-sac below you, and the level lot size is very is petite. So I'm not a fan of the idea of letting everyone have chicken coops. on those lots or apiaries without much further study about how this would be done and how the neighbors would approve of it and not just discover that there are 15 chickens living within sight of their bedroom windows. I would be in support of a survey done of all the homeowners in these jurisdictions to ask them how they would feel. I would be concerned about things like children and bees and pets and chickens. Yes, maybe they're in a coop that is predator proof, but I have had a coyote in my backyard multiple times this year. I saw one crossing Via Milcumbres last Tuesday with something that it had caught in its mouth, and if the coyotes can't get to the chickens, or I've had a bobcat in my backyard, it'll be somebody's cat or someone's dog who happens to be out at the wrong time.
Thank you. Councilmember Zito?
Yeah, thanks. I guess the first comment I wanted to make, I don't know if it was missed or it went to the wrong email address. I actually didn't see it till almost right before the meeting, but I did get a letter from a resident that also went to the city clerk's email address, but I don't see it in our blue folder. So I'm not sure if it was part of it, but
I didn't see a letter.
Right, yeah. So, but they copied me on it. So I don't know I don't think they copied anybody else. But the primary comment in the letter I can relate as well, just for now, was that which I think is reasonable to discuss as well with respect to the coops and the chicken capabilities. Why can't we also include or consider including medium residential, simply because by excluding medium residential, we wipe out all of Eden Gardens, and so nobody in Eden Gardens could have a chicken coop. So I think it is something worth to consider if we're going to consider this. I guess one question I would have, I have no idea what the current law regulations are in many of our associations, but for the city attorney, even though this isn't a city legal question, is I assume HOAs, if they didn't want chicken coops, could ban it with their HOAs, correct?
Correct. They can operate under their own CCNRs, and it's a contractual relationship between the property owners and the HOA, and they can be more restrictive.
So there is additional layers for a lot of organizations or a lot of the areas of the city that they could potentially take a look at that if it was concerned. I know I personally get a lot of input on people wanting to do this. I've actually had multiple neighbors on my street maintain chickens illegally over the past years because they wanted to do it so much. And I'm certainly supportive in trying to expand and allow chicken coops in the neighborhoods. With respect to your questions, I think the current math is a little bit odd, and I would be more inclined to say, yeah, let's have a minimum of 3 for the social perspective, and then maybe come up with numbers based upon just zoning of just saying, okay, if you're in the up to the LMR zone, you can have up to 10 or whatever we want the number to be. And then maybe medium, if we decide to allow it, medium, it would be more like 5 or something, because those are smaller lots, but in general, willing to consider that. I think the 1 per 2,000 square feet is kind of an odd way to go, and then have to calculate the lot size and debate over that, whether it's developable area or whatever it is. So I just, doing it based upon zoning would be useful. I like the idea of having, just using the accessory structure code. I think that's very useful. I guess I have a question to staff on that. I had thought if the accessory structure, which you can do in your rear yard setbacks, I believe, but you mentioned 12 feet. I thought that like sheds.
Tall. 12 feet tall.
I know.
Yeah.
But I thought sheds, if they were in your setback, were limited to 6 feet or something like that. Are there different height requirements or something like that?
There are different height requirements within the side yard setbacks.
Side yard, is that what it is?
Yeah, they can't exceed 42 inches in the side yard.
Okay.
Yeah.
For a shed? Okay.
Well, any accessory structure.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, yeah. So, but I think that's a good starting point to take a look at the accessory structure, because then we don't have to come up with new code and what it is. But having said that, I think 12 feet might be a little high as well. But I don't know if anybody would be really wanting to build a 12-foot chicken coop.
Right.
That's more of a barn.
Yeah.
That part. But take a look at it. So, I'm very supportive of trying to figure out how to do the chickens. As I said, this is one thing I get an amazing amount of feedback on, surprisingly, just given where I live, that people really want to do this. It's also very environmentally friendly. And those are my comments there. The bees, I like the idea. I'm a huge fan of bees, but I also have a lot of personal experiences, given that over the past 10 years, I've had unknown and unexpected beehives set up on my property and have been stung at least a dozen times just because I happen to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. Fortunately, it's not a problem with me. It's like, ouch, okay, thank you. And then you call a beekeeper and get it removed. But my sister, who is highly allergic to bees, that'd be a huge problem for her. So if we were to go the route of bees, I think, some of the codes, it would have to be almost certainly the really large lots where you can do 35 feet setbacks from adjacent structure, because it's really only a problem if you're in the, within that first area of the flight path and where the bees are coming and going, that I think it's a real risk. But, I definitely want to make sure that we aren't putting that we are, if we go this route, which I am certainly supportive of in the right properties, that we aren't putting neighboring properties in risk of their residents being stung because they happen to be in the flight path, because it's a big deal for some people. And so having the big distances, I think, will be more important there for me. Thanks.
Thanks. I'm going to jump in here because my husband has 3 beehives. We have apparently an illegal set of beehives in our backyard, but we have a large lot and it backs up to an area owned by a neighbor behind us that keeps it all open and native. So we have a lot of space around these beehives. My husband, who is retired, this has provided an unbelievably wonderful hobby for him to learn about bees. It is very, it's complex. The learning curve is great, and it's good to know about this course that first-time beekeepers could take, because it takes a lot. My husband has helped other people, a number of our neighbors who have had bees that swarmed and ended up in their pipes or their it's always one of the cabinets that they have, a utility cabinet or something. He wears his little bee outfit and he puts it on and he takes them, and he can put them either in a hive or call somebody to help to come get it. There are different types of bees. I like that this says docile bees. They're usually the Italian bees. And requeening every 2 years is very important, because if you don't do that, then they can become infested with more dangerous Africanized bees. So it's important to know what you're doing and to have the education. And the docile bees, my husband goes up there now without his bee suit on, and he can juggle the bees like this. That he, there's a little swarm and a little swarm, and we get honey from it. It helps obviously with pollinating again, but it's a great hobby for a lot of seniors. And we're a monarch butterfly-friendly city, and we are a pollinator city, and so I think this helps. I do think that there needs to be space around these beehives, and I would like to see that we could have a maximum of 3 because of the space that would be required around them in terms of the size of the lot. I have a few notes here in terms of I'll go back. Well, I'll keep with the bees. So I would prefer 3 hives maximum, docile only, requeening, registering. The location should be set back from property lines. The water source is important to have too. We have a really cool looking basin that we know that the raccoons visit to and clean up their little paws. We see, my husband keeps it clean. So I'm very supportive of having that probably in the estate. LR and LMR if you have a large area. We're in the LMR, but we have a large area. As far as the bees, it says or other fowl. I do not want to see turkey. I mean, it's the chickens. It says and other fowl. I do not want to see turkey, geese, or swans. So maybe chickens are smaller. I don't know. Maybe some people like doves and dove eggs, or quails and quail eggs. The zoning, I think it should be estate residential LMR, and I like the idea of MR, but we need to limit the flock size per lot size. I think that makes a lot of sense. Let's see, the coop construction, I don't know, anything about coops, so I can't comment about that. But 10 square feet per chicken, I don't know if that includes the area that's not the coop that they run around in.
Yes. So for an average chicken, you would need 2 to 3 square feet of nesting area and then 8-ish square feet of run. So I'm just kind of saying average 10 square feet per.
Got it.
For both.
Okay, I
Yeah.
understand. All right. The size, again, I think the size of the flock should be per lot size, and of course, hens only. So those are my comments. I'm supportive of both. Councilmember Edson?
Thank you. Thank you, Councilmember Zito. You mentioned many of the things that I might have mentioned. And Mayor Huebner as well. I agree with limiting flock sizes. I do also, by zone. And I have lived long, I think, in MR and even smaller at this point zones. I'm in an HOA now. They do not allow chickens. I have no problem with that because we are really close to each other. But on my previous street, I'm aware of at least 3 houses that probably violated that, having chickens at all, and no one had a problem with it. I will say that perhaps on the smaller lots, maybe you get neighbors to sign off, on bees and on chickens. I am allergic to bees, but I garden all the time, and I seem to have a good relationship with them. They don't sting me. I found out I was allergic to a bee because I've stepped on them twice as a teenager or a young person. And so I think I just maybe deserve to be stung because I stepped on them. But bees, I think by nature, are pretty docile unless they're Africanized hives. In my past house, we had 2 hives develop, one that actually got into the eaves. I needed people to come vacuum them out, sadly, and the other one was between neighboring fences, and we were able to rescue those bees and get them moved away. But as I said, I've been surrounded by bees a lot, and I'm very allergic, but I don't have a problem with having bees. I would sign off on my neighbor having bees.
And I'll just interject. I have never been stung by a bee, so I don't know. My father was allergic to bees, so I'm a little wary to be stung, but, and we have bees all over the place. The one bad thing about bees is that they leave little yellow poop marks on your windows and on your car.
Right. Everybody wonders what those little yellow marks are, like on your patio furniture and
Yes,
stuff. That's bee poop.
bees,
I
yeah.
learned that from Katie Pelisak when she did a presentation on bees. But we are a pollinator-friendly city. We're a welcoming city, so I think that really is important. We're into sustainability. Chickens provide fertilizer, for example, that's natural components. So I do think that maybe on the smaller lots with the limited flocks and maybe having neighbors sign off is something that we can move toward. Let's see. Minimum setbacks from property lines, I think, is smarter. Considering the size of the lots in our city, we are not out in Rancho Santa Fe, so not everybody has the giant lots to do those different things with. No front yard coops, in my opinion. I oppose having chicken coops in front yards. I don't care if there's screening vegetation or not. I just don't think.
Can I just clarify?
Sure.
So we're recommending that they would not be allowed in the required front yard area. Are you also in the front yard setback? Are you also saying that you wouldn't want them in front of a house even if it's in the buildable area?
I'm saying I would not want them in the front yard. Yeah, it's one thing to play green acres in your backyard, but I don't think playing green acres in the front yard is that great a look in general. Let's see. I think I touched on the minimums and maximums. I think the 3 minimum is, which I think was recommended by Councilmember Zito, is nice. Chickens do die, and sometimes you start with 3, but you have 2, and then you either buy another one or whatever happens. So I don't know how those types of things would be monitored, but I like the idea of the coops not needing to have a permit that if they're a certain size and within certain areas that that wouldn't be necessary. Let's see. I'm okay with the 3 hives on a larger lot. I think that makes sense. And docile bees and only docile bees. And I love the education component because I think that's probably pretty smart for anything, whether it's chickens or bees, to understand what it is that you're raising. But I think that's about all for me. I question, let's see. Yep, I think I hit everything that I had question marks on. Hillside Overlay Zone and ESHA. I think those ones are interesting. So I know people who have coops that are in Hillside Overlay Zone. It doesn't seem to draw, I mean, their chickens have survived being there in good enclosures. I'm not sure why we would prohibit them within the Hillside Overlay Zone. Can you explain?
Well, we don't allow grading or structures within the hillside overlay zone where there's slopes greater than 20%.
Okay.
So even on the flat part?
So I think the reason why we kind of added those is for development, we would require additional information like a slope analysis or a biology report. And so instead of having to go through that process in order to have chickens, we kind of just said if the property was located there, you may want to prohibit it. But it's, I mean, ultimately up to you.
Okay, have to think about that one. I agree with the no roosters.
Oh, for sure.
Absolutely. Sorry, just trying to go through this really quick. I think that, yeah.
Okay, Deputy Mayor, you're back up on the board.
So I seem to be on the losing end of this proposition. I grew up in a small city. I lived in a series of apartments. I never wanted to have chickens. We had a cat. And I don't really want my next door neighbors to have chickens in their backyard because it would be very close and to my yard and would make me unhappy. And so now I've got to worry about ADUs and chickens, I guess.
But you're in an HOA, right?
So my HOA is essentially defunct. If I could go back and find the documents, I would have to hire a lawyer and sue my neighbor.
Councilman Bredson?
Yes, so that's kind of why I was thinking about having the neighbors sign off on the smaller lots, especially, if you get your neighbors with adjoining yards to sign off, then I think that covers that. So Jill, you could tell your neighbor no.
Yeah. And then perhaps we can put something in the weekly newsletter that we've had this discussion, and although I hope people get educated before they offer their opinions about certain things. But yeah, I think it'd be good to get more input on this. We've had a number of speakers, it's been years, was noted in the staff report, came requesting chickens and requesting bees.
So I would love for the permitting process to get the approval of your adjacent neighbors in the LMR zone, mostly because most of those properties, the coop and the chickens would have to be on the level part of the lot, and therefore would be very close to the home and neighboring homes. If all the neighbors agreed to it, that would be okay with me.
Okay.
I just don't like the idea of it happening like when the people show up to build an ADU and you got no notice.
Very good.
I have a couple clarifications if I can take some time, just because, and then staff, if there's anything else that I'm missing. So I've heard 4 zones. We currently have ER, LR, considering some limitations on LMR and MR. For both. I'm seeing heads nodding.
Yes.
For both bees and chickens.
Could we see the map again?
Yes.
Thanks.
So I don't think bees, because those were very small,
Okay.
right? And we should probably consider maybe not, well, how many feet from the hives? 20 feet or 15, so I don't know what the feet would be, but.
This is chickens, though.
But
I
then
was
for
asking for
chickens-
both, but so for chickens, I saw heads nod.
Yes.
For bees, am I hearing concurrence that maybe
ER,
not the
LR,
MR?
and LMR.
Okay, but not the MR
Correct.
for, okay. Tiffany, do you have anything else about the zone that you want to add in, or Corey?
Well, something just kind of popped into my head. So really the limitation on the zone was kind of based on the lot size and also if the property had like multifamily or whatnot on the lot. So there could be an opportunity to limit it not by zone, but like by a lot size.
Yeah, that's an idea.
Okay.
Yeah, you could
Which
present
would kind
that,
of make
yeah.
it permissive to more people, but I don't know if you would want to consider something
I think
like
that makes some sense for the bees, right? Because if we're going to limit, because you really should have some space around that. What do you think about lot size? It just,
Well-
I guess what you're saying is in some of these zones there are larger lots, and so we wouldn't want to prohibit them if they happen to be in another zone with an equal lot size. Right?
Right. If you felt like maybe they had enough lot area, but they're in a different zone, then you're not, I guess, eliminating that possibility.
So maybe you could come up with the lot sizes based on kind of what the standard lot size is in each of those zones. You can.
You want to work on
We could take a look at it. Yeah.
Yeah, because the lot sizes do vary
Yeah, quite a bit.
dramatically. And I know that on my former street, most lots were about 60 by 110. So they're pretty small lots, but still, they weren't tiny. And I think if you place whatever properly, or your neighbor doesn't care if it's, close to the fence, shared fence, that's something that can be done.
And if I could, there are some areas or some lots where lot size doesn't really get at the concern because there is limited usable square footage, whether it be hillside or ESHA or whatever. So
Exactly, and I think that's my point. I'll just take my house as an example. Most of my lot is in my front yard. The house was set much further back in order to squeeze one more house in the cul-de-sac by the developer, and I like, I didn't need a big backyard. I liked the idea of having more distance from the street, and my neighbors, because of the steep slope, have fences not at their lot line, but where it starts to slope down steeply toward the golf course. So where are we going to allow coops? Are we going to allow them in that small area that they have fenced in because that's the level area? Or are we going to allow them because there's all the sloped area that's technically part of their lot? And that's the same thing. And all the Santa streets are the same way. They've got these very steep lots that go down and down and down. Same thing is true on the lagoon side, that the lot size may appear larger on a paper than it is in reality.
So buildable lot size, perhaps.
yeah, usable lot
Yeah, usable
area. Yeah.
Is that readily available, Tiffany?
That information, I believe, is in like our GIS, but I'd have to. I can go back and verify to see how accurate that appears to be. Yeah.
And my concern about limiting based on usable areas, that's not readily known to the average person, and we could have a lot of non-compliance or people that are deterred, so whichever way you want to look at it, from doing that because they just don't know, and it takes an added step. I think what I had heard initially was low barrier to doing some of these activities, so to the extent we can kind of come up with some other parameters.
Some other parameters, yeah, when you bring it back, yeah, that'd be helpful.
There could be another way to get at that, specifically those lots in the Santas. You could do setbacks from like canyon's edge, even or canyon rim, for example, or the top of the slope, or if there's hillside, it requires setback from hillside overlay zone, things like that. So you can kind of get at that without knowing the exact usable square footage.
And I'm thinking maybe if you already have a dedicated easement across the portion of your parcel, which, I know we've talked about
Oh, yeah,
that.
what is that space, right?
Yes,
I
this
know.
this unknown space that you have it fenced off, but you can't go back there. And so if you have some constraint like that, that's usually an indicator that you have a smaller usable area. So maybe we can look at something like that, where the average person can look and say, yes, I have a fence, and then I know my property goes further, and so I can't put that in. Permits, I heard sign off, which is usually connected to a permit, but maybe there's a process that if you go and have people sign off, you keep it in your file. If somebody comes and complains, I don't know what that looks like. So the push and pull with having permits or not having permits and getting sign off.
I hear what you're
Thoughts
saying,
about
yeah.
that?
Maybe we can have a best practices sort of
Absolutely,
something. Best
yeah.
practices to get sign off on your neighbors. And it's a best practice to get sign off from your neighbors so that if they complain, so you won't have a situation where you're gone through the investment and then they have a complaint. It makes sense, right?
Yeah. So we would, and I think there are a lot of those considerations that were in your staff report that would go into a frequently asked questions, get in information. I could even see possibly pairing up with an organization that is, I know there's some Facebook groups, but some organizations that come out and can share about either bee keeping or chicken keeping in our community. We can get more and more information out. And
So I do have a question that maybe someone can ask, and that is, if you have chickens in a coop, are you supposed to let them out run around your yard every day?
No.
Okay.
I do. I have chickens. I don't let mine out because I don't
one
prefer
of the
to clean
pictures
that up.
was of them, running around the yard, and I just was wondering.
Yeah, I
Some
think
folks
just-
prefer and some do not.
Just relative to that, though, from the perspective of the best practices needing to get neighbor sign off, I think part of that would be how far are you from your neighbors, right? How far is the proposed use from the neighbor? I mean, if you're 40 feet from your neighbor, I don't think you need to go get your neighbor sign off for a chicken coop necessarily. So, and if that's where it's going to be. So I just think that's
that's
something
a
to
good
be
point.
considering what the circumstances are in that area.
So
what
maybe
it
in the
is.
LMR,
And I do-
just the MR or something.
I do think, yeah. And relative to my previous comments, I mean, I realize that bees may really like dawn quite a lot, but as I said, even docile bees will sting if you get close enough to the hive. So
Yeah, you're not supposed to do that.
Right? No, I know, but you don't know it's there. That's the problem. So I do.
It's a big white box.
Or a child.
But if it's on the other side of a fence, you don't know it's there. And so I do think we need to make sure the bee distances are
Right.
adequate. I mean, Encinitas has 35 feet. I don't know if that's right, but something close to that would be useful.
Yeah, and that's one more thing. People, if they haven't been stung, don't know whether they're allergic or not. And small children, I babysat for a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old. And my 1-year-old granddaughter, there was a bee, on the patio in front, behind her house, and she reached out. It looked interesting, and she was going to grab it. So.
Well, there are bees around.
Yeah, no, I know. I mean, I have bees all over my property in general just because of
we
the
have
plants that we
pollinator
have,
plants.
right?
Yes.
Pollinator plants, that's what I do. But those bees are docile. It's only when you get close to the hive that they really are going to get mad at you, unless you happen to grab them, which I've done that accidentally before too.
2 more points that I just want to get some clarification on. The coop building height, I heard some questions about that. Is there a need to limit that to below 12 feet as being the maximum, or are you thinking 8? Okay, I see an 8.
8?
Well, like below the
Yes, and for the record, that was Councilmember Edson throwing up 8. Anyone else?
I have no idea how tall coops are. Would 8 be adequate, or is that? Yeah.
And because we have a fence regulation that's 6 foot or
Okay.
8 foot with 2 feet, open and whatnot, it would comply with our fence heights.
Yeah, that's a good point.
maximum. So-
I think that makes sense. I think for coop height, it doesn't really need to be tall because most standard size hens don't really fly. But people at least want to be able to enter the space to be able to clean it and maintain it. So at least above head height.
That's smart. Okay.
And lastly, the Eshen hillside overlay. So having a structure like a coop in that area would have a lot of other complications, but I'm going to look to staff. If you had an open area and you had bee boxes, could those be set into, and without, if it's explicit that you cannot clear any areas in ESHA or hillside overlay, but if you have an area, could you place boxes because they're movable? Would that be something that could be considered? And then I look back to the council of your preference.
I think placing the hive, I think, would be a possibility because, if you have a yard that's a usable, like, backyard area that's flat, you probably would be able to put it there and know that that's not, like, on a sloped area, right? But the issue, I think, with the bees is that we require that 6-foot barrier, like either a fence or a hedge. So that, I think, might be a little bit more difficult.
Is that required in the county requirements, or is that a best practice? And I because we haven't really talked much about the barrier being required.
Yeah, we don't have a barrier in ours because it's up against sort of I guess it's a slope, yeah. And then they just go straight out So depending on the yard and the situation, I've never heard of anybody having a fence around, because you know the area off of Via de la Valle, you're on the freeway and you look to the right, there's where sort of the lagoon is. For many years, they would seasonally have bee boxes throughout there. And I think that might be ESHA. I'm not 100% sure. But they're just out there in the open. Now, they're not near houses, right, because they're out there. But
so the 6-foot barrier or hedge or whatever is a best practice for preventing swarming below 6 feet. So like the bees would have to go up and then over.
I don't think it's hard for them to go up.
But it is a BMP.
Okay.
BMP. Okay, so that would be in the BMP.
So if somebody were to choose to put it in ESHA or hillside overlay, where they have a flat area that's already cleared, and they've set them in it's kind of far back from their home. Maybe it's up against the canyon. Would that be, first I want to make sure that, it's not clearing, it's not construction. Would they be able to put their bee boxes back there? And yes, you wouldn't be able to put a fence around it in that area.
Right. If there was no additional development, I think that would be a possibility. Yeah.
So I heard coops no in ESHA and hillside, but bees, assuming you don't have any other construction and it's already cleared, so no clearings permitted, you could put it in one of those areas.
Yep, I think
I'm seeing head nods again. Okay.
Okay.
I
And
have
other-
actually a
yes,
point
Oh,
to
yeah.
clarify, if I could. Going back to species, so our code references chickens and other fowl. So I think there needs to be a decision about if we're just talking about chickens with
Chickens,
our regulations moving forward.
I mean, does somebody want to keep quail or doves? I don't know.
So there are
chickens,
people.
ducks, and quail are the most popular. Ducks
I don't think
require
ducks would
slightly
be a
more
good idea.
space. Fine. And quails are very popular, but they're tiny. I mean, they're barely a pound. So I don't think the same regulations would necessarily apply for flock size to quail, but maybe just coop construction and location, for example.
So chickens and smaller fowl, maybe we could say that.
Sure,
A
that makes
fowl
sense, because
smaller than
that would
chickens?
include bantam chickens as well.
Okay.
So how big are bantam chickens compared to a duck?
Compared to a duck, I don't have that statistic, but standard chickens are 5 to 10 pounds, and bantams are about 2 pounds.
Okay,
And they
so they're tiny.
require, you can house 3 to 4 bantams in the same size area as one chicken requires.
Okay, so a duck is more like a chicken.
Duck is a larger chicken.
Yeah.
With
A duck
quacks.
requires
quack.
4 to
That's her
5
I don't want
chicken
ducks. I don't want to be able to keep ducks. They would be very.
But
It seems
disturbing.
cruel.
There are actually
ducks are supposed to be
out in the
where there's water and
so
flying around.
There are a number of people in town who have seasonal ducks.
Well, they just show up.
They
the
just
wild
show up
ducks.
and they
Yeah, that's
fly
not
in
the
and they're
same.
there for a week
And they're
or
in their
two
pool. I've
every
seen
year.
those posts, yeah.
Okay, so those are okay, right? Because they're
They
not
don't-
keeping them. They're not okay.
They're okay.
I agree. They're not
Okay.
keeping them.
Thank you.
Right.
Just
Okay.
a point of clarification. So the current municipal code regulations allow for chickens and other fowl.
Right, let's
So
change
do
that.
we want to remove that entirely and then have new chicken regulations, or are we going to leave the other fowl as they currently are regulated? And
No, let's say chickens and fowl smaller than chickens.
So
How's that?
we would amend it, yes.
Yeah.
And it sounds like we're amending the maximum as well. as 25 is probably, as we've had some development over the last decade that has taken out some of our last small farms, that 25
acres.
is really.
So did we come up with a number? Because I'm comfortable with 10 as a
Okay,
max.
we'll start with that, and then we'll work on some other ideas to
Yeah,
present.
three
when we come
minimum,
back.
10 max.
Well, in the big estates, they could be more, right? If they wanted more. I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm going to provide my own personal
Yes.
opinion.
Yes. As a
10 is
chicken-
a solid amount.
Okay.
You often can't consume more than 10. The egg lane, which is the purpose, you can't consume enough. And then is that for commercial purpose?
Oh,
And so
got it.
then you get into that world. So 10 is nice, and you give them out to friends, colleagues, neighbors,
So 10.
yourself. Yes, if I.
For the
have
record,
more.
I have not had any honey or any eggs.
That will be corrected. So I see that we also allow horses, mules, donkeys, ponies, and other large animals in the estate residential. I had no idea. Do we have any?
Well, we had feather acres in the estate residential area, and I believe they had some ponies.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know that we have many more.
And
There
then
may
there's
be some.
goats, sheep, pigs, and other small animals that are allowed.
Yeah, there were ponies that were across the freeway, like around Marine View. There were a lot of little horses over
Okay,
there.
well, there's lots of minimum area required for that, so it's very unique, I'm sure, and not prone to like having one in your backyard on Sierra Street. Okay.
I want to look at Tiffany. Anything else that you need clarification on?
No, thank you.
Great job. Thank you.
Okay. That was fun. I hope you had fun, Jill. Jill doesn't look like she's having very much fun. Okay, that concludes our agenda. So we're going on to compensation and reimbursement. I can't find where everything is. I just lost it all. And does anybody have any committee or commission reports? No. Deputy Mayor?
Yeah. So the San Diego River Valley Joint Powers Authority has hired a new executive director from within, and she starts on July 1st. And her
great.
name is Liana Boulay.
And so Shauna Anderson is
Is
retiring,
retiring,
as of
yes.
July 1st. I just saw that
Mhm.
recently somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's been a wonderful addition.
Fabulous, fabulous. And I think 26 years this year.
Wow, wow. Legislative correspondence? None, okay. Work plan comments? No. She can't have any. You have to move, Dave, if she wants to move. Okay, all of that. This meeting is adjourned till June 24th. Good night, all. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm unadjourning this meeting. We're going to close session. Thank you, and we have to come back out and adjourn the meeting. We
not expect any reportable action. I will consult with the city clerk and report out accordingly.
Okay, so I can
Thank you.
conclude the open session. Thank you.
That was the most interesting conversation. I'm glad we moved Park and Rec up, so it was like bookending it with like nice things, interesting things.
And then my husband is illegal.
I was gonna say, please the 5th. Like, really,
Oh, okay,
please.
she's gonna admit it. Okay.